Today I want to talk about the fundamental drawbacks of the Infj. Yeah, there's quite a few drawbacks to the personality type, and a lot of them can be devastating as we grow through our lives. I'm going to tell you a few of them are just easily solved. It does take patience and it takes our own perseverance within ourselves in order to solve these. But if you stick with me long enough, I'm going to tell you that number 3 and number 4 are some of the most critical. And these are some of the ones that pretty much devastate us through our life. But we can find ways out of this, people. Trust me. Oh, by the way, this is Tom. This is the Infj Experience, and I want to welcome you to today's show. Well, so the number 1 is feeling radically different from everyone else. Yeah, we've known that early on, people. We've always felt radically different from our friends, from our family, from schoolmates, from just pretty much everybody. We've always felt radically different, like we didn't belong with a lot of people. I mean, in many cases, we've been kind of laughed at. We've been kind of ridiculed. You knew people were kind of saying things behind your back. They might have been good, nice to your face, and then you kind of knew instinctively that they were going over to their other friend and telling them things you said. And you just knew you were different. And that seemed to be a trend through your life. So we've always known that we've been radically different from other people. And that always isolated you. That always put you into a state of depression, just for being basically shunned by people. And you so radically wanted to just be, fit in, but you just were different. And that leads me into number 2, wanting acceptance from the world, but getting disregarded. I kind of steered into that a little bit, people. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we just want friends. We want people to like us. We want a friend group. We want our family to basically just hear us out, just to hear what we have to say. And a lot of times we're disregarded, we're spoken over, or we're just plain ignored for things like that. And even though we know we have things that we want to say, sometimes they just don't come out right. But it's frustrating because these are some of the things. Now, these are things early on in life especially that happen to us. But these are the building blocks of our life. And through our life, we learn kind of just to stay quiet. We get quieter because what's the point in talking to people a lot of times when people are going to just already judge you, or going to disregard you, or just going to kind of shun you anyway. So we kind of tend to be quieter. And these are one of the reasons why the INFJ is a quiet type, right? Now, number 3 is isolation and feeling alone, even amongst others. Yeah, that's another one of the fundamental drawbacks of the INFJ, is feeling alone amongst others. Now, people, we are introverted and intuitive. We're always in our mind. We have a deep and a complex inner world. Our mind is radically vast, and we know the depth of our mind. And a lot of times, seeking for somebody just to understand that world that we're in, just to see it, just to experience where our mind is. So many times, this is one of the more fundamental problems we have, is that a lot of times people want connection with other people. It's always that superficial. It's always that outer stimulation. A lot of people are extroverted. A lot of times they like that surface level interaction, and they're happy with that. And people get along with surface level. INFJs and other introverted intuitives even want that deeper inner world to be recognized. They want to share that with somebody. They just want somebody to see the depth of their mind, of their creativity, of their spirit. They want their soul to be kind of mingled with. And this is one of our drawbacks because we want that depth. We want that genuine just completion in our depth, but we're alone there. We feel completely isolated in our own mind, in our own inner world, even amongst other people, because surface level interactions with people just doesn't seem to really do it for us in a lot of ways. So this is a drawback we have, people. And the 4th one is the inner conflict of our own mind. Now, that kind of coincides with what I just said. Of course, isolation and inner conflict in the mind, it's always that inner mind. We're basically all alone in our mind. And we spend our life like that. And just once we're trying to break out, we're trying to find that completion. But the inner conflict in our mind is just kind of always tugging us in so many different directions, it seems. I mean, we want isolation, we want our solitude, yet people drain us. Now, I've said this before, this is an age-old understanding that we're drained by people. Yes, we're very rapidly drained. Our batteries are drained when we're amongst other people. We crave some kind of connection, yet when we're with people, we're drained by them. So that's creating a kind of a divide. But this is the thing, as INFJs, if we are not aware of our personality type, now this is especially in the unaware phase of the INFJ, understanding that you don't know your type yet, when you're still kind of naive to who you are in your personality type, you're gonna experience this because you're gonna think that, like what everybody told you, you're weird, you're different, you don't have any kind of understanding to the world that you're in, and you don't fit in a lot of times. So you're gonna it's gonna compound you. It's gonna compound your conflict in your mind even all the more because you want to fit in. You know you're not like other people. You can't understand why. So yes, it's gonna make you start thinking you have drawbacks, like maybe you have mental problems, mental illnesses and things like that. And this could conflict with you as well. Okay? So, number 5 is knowing you have great potential but are shunned for expressing it. Yeah, there you go, people. You know that. In your mind, you know you have this labyrinth of a mind, and you have ideas, you have creativity, you have helpful ideas for people. You know what would solve some of the problems of the human race, of people in general. You can look out and see other people struggling in their life, and you know that there's just a couple of things you could say to them would actually get them thinking and help them. But a lot of times you might try and you're just shunned for it. So a lot of times we go through our life just staying quiet, kind of observing things around us, knowing we have something to offer, knowing we have something deeper that we could shed to this world that would help it, that would enhance the world in so many ways, but knowing that in these other ways we're shunned. We're not equipped to do it because people aren't listening, and it's frustrating. Again, and number 6, now this is the main one here, being misunderstood. I mean, yes, this is we always talk about this one, just being misunderstood. Just being to the point where nobody gets us. We try to explain ourselves, and we have a certain way of explaining it. And usually the way we talk, the way we just interact with people is deep. It's very deep. And you lose people, because you're trying to just talk things out, and your solutions usually are deeper than what they want. A lot of times it's about maybe facing yourself, facing people's problem. They have to be somewhat accountable for themselves. And a lot of people don't want to do that. And so a lot of times you have to say you got to look at yourself, and people don't want that. So fundamentally, you're misunderstood for whatever things you're saying. Okay? Now, a lot of times, though, that light was blinking a bit. Now, a lot of times what's going on here is the fact that each one of these problems is solvable for the INFJ. I'm living proof of that because mainly it's I have basically the levels of just solving these. So your first ones is just acknowledgement. Early on, we don't know ourselves. A lot of times, all of these drawbacks affect us deeply because we are oblivious to who we are exactly. We don't know that there's certain types of personalities. And a lot of times these bother us most of our life. We're affected by the way we're treated, or mistreated for that matter, through our life. So a lot of times just finding out your type, and sometimes it might be just by design. It might be just fate will have it. When you are ready, you'll discover. Maybe you'll stumble across a video or something, maybe some literature somewhere, and you'll start reading it and recognize yourself in this personality type. You'll see yourself, and you'll be amazed. It'll actually be one of your best days of your life to be acknowledged that you are a rare personality type and have the INFJ personality. So that's your first level of understanding. Next is acceptance. People, you have to understand that we need to accept who we are. All of these drawbacks that I had listed before are not your it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. You're just built completely different. So you're a different animal basically. You are a higher level consciously, a higher level of empathy. I mean, you are built more from the inside out instead of the outside in, meaning that your spirit, your soul, your consciousness, and your guide, your inner God code is always working. While a lot of times most other types, now most of your sensing types, see the world from the outside in. They're using their senses, they're hearing their senses, and they're absorbing and they're taking in information from the outside, living that way. But you're living it differently. Most introverted intuitives are. So a lot of times this causes us great conflict because the rest of the world doesn't recognize it. And the rarity, the fact that we don't know anybody else in our life, the fact that we're so rare to other people makes it more compound because we have no one to talk to. That's very isolating. That's causing the aloneness. So by just accepting who you are exactly is actually going to help you. Acknowledgement and acceptance. Your next step here is awareness. You know, people, after you find out who you are, when you realize that this is your life, this is the way you're built, and this is the how you were built, you can start educating yourself to your personality type. Now, this is a well-documented personality type. It's part of the 16 types, and it's very, very rare, as you know. And just a matter of being aware of who you are, and just, like I said, acceptance into the awareness, just knowing that you can start processing, learning, finding out some of the fundamental thinking patterns of this type, because they all are out there, okay? The alignment of introverted intuition, the feeling, the extroverted feeling, and the judging factors are all a certain code. It's a certain combination of ways of interacting, just as the other 15 types are. But as you understand your awareness, as you are aware of that, you can learn more about it. Start watching more videos, start interacting with more Infjs online even. As these programs here are for, this is what this channel is all about, is about finding Infjs and that we understand each other, that we have help, that we have somebody finally that gets us. And that ultimately will lead you to your awakening. Now, the awakening is the final stage of INFJs. It's almost like inner code that has to be unleashed. It has to be initiated. It's almost like, you know, pushing the initiation sequence of let's say a bomb or something. It's all intercoded. You know, you push the button, that countdown starts, and it starts to initiate a process. I don't know if that's the best analogy, but we all have an inner code that we have. Every species on Earth has an inner code. There's a certain time that takes. Now, human beings are no different. Human beings are the most elaborate creature on Earth, and we have initiated codes within ourselves. Of course, there's DNA codes. As we develop from children into adolescence, we go through puberty, through our hormonal changes. Obviously, we start growing into maturity, and these levels, these are the physical stages. And of course, every other living species, I mean, animals follow these same codes as well. But we have a deeper code. We have that awakening code that we have. And in fact, introverted intuitives in particular have this awakening code. And this is the code that is spiritual. This is a conscious raising, a level of consciousness that we find. And usually this happens later on in life. It's almost like the stages of a butterfly. You know, the last stage is the metamorphosis of the butterfly itself, emerging from the chrysalis. We have this emerging of our own awakening within our own mind. That's all part of our code that we're set to find, just out there to find. And of course, but a lot of these stages have to come from the other ones that I listed. Just understanding your type, understanding who you are, having an acceptance into who you are, and starting to learn your mind, learning every aspect about your mind. And understand too, people, that there's a certain level of acceptance into your solitude as well. You may find out that you are always alone in your mind. You're never going to find a completion within this outer world. This outer world will not offer that. Now, you might bump into somebody, you might bump into another INFJ, maybe myself, maybe I'm already testifying to something that's within you that you're already finding here on this channel that as I'm speaking into. There are rare moments you're going to find people that see what you see, know what you know in your life. It's fleeting and it's very rare, but you will find this from time to time in people. But in general, you are isolated and alone. This is an acceptance you're going to have to come to. Now, in your awakening, as you face yourself, it's not an easy journey. It's a painful journey, but most of our life has been painful. And you've had a painful journey through your life. You've suffered most of your life. You've had many bouts of anguish in your life, depression in your life. And this, we all have. Trust me, all INFJs go through this. This is part of our life. And but it has forged us. These initial early stages of sufferings that we have will only lead us to the greater awakening stage that we need to face, okay? So we're being built, we're being forged into that greatest moment where we have to. But the awakening is actually the unleashing of the consciousness. It's actually unleashing of your being. It's your completed self, basically. It's when you evolve into your Sigma self, your completed self, your self that no longer needs acceptance, no longer needs to fill. And in fact, that aloneness in your mind has been filled with just an understanding. Basically, it's you have found grace with God in a sense. You have found your completion. And at this point here, I mean, all of your heartaches, a lot of your sufferings pretty much alleviate. You'll understand them. And the craziness of your mind, because you don't have all these pullings, you don't have these drawings pulling you in every direction, will be gone. You'll be more whole, more complete. But these are the stages you must take. I outlaid a lot of different things to think about in this whole video so far, but these are the fundamentals as far as the INFJs. But these are the stages of awakening that I had listed before. So, well, people, I said quite a bit. If you're new to this channel and you just stumbled across this video, just understand that, yes, I mean, I'm here for INFJs. I'm here for us, hoping that I catch you at a young age. I'm hoping that INFJs somehow find this at an age where they can start developing, start understanding themselves. Because trust me, when you start understanding who you are and you accept who you are in all the stages I've listed, your life gets amazingly enriching. Okay? And at that point there, you'll reach this point of assimilation. Now that's the last step I wanted to get into. Assimilation is basically the stage where you want to help. You want to get out there in the world and you want your voice to be heard. You want others to know your journey. You want others to follow where you've gone. And because there is a way out of this. And being that INFJs are extremely rare, we're the rarest type, well, we need these. We need some kind of guidance every so often. Trust me, people, you might find this all by yourself. I mean, it might happen. I think we all have the potential, but it's extremely painful. And it may be very costly to us in some ways if we don't find it sometimes. Sometimes we make bad decisions that affect the rest of our lives. Maybe it might even affect our life, our health, and even just everything else in general, people around us in general. So yeah, these are necessary stages we have to take in our life to find our true awakening and our true selves. Well then, people, thank you so much. I think we're going to wrap up this video. People, if you just found me for the first time, please subscribe to my channel. Yeah, please give me the thumbs up. Let me know you like this kind of content. And I want to thank you so much for attending today. Well, thank you again, and until the next time, have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.